whether, and there was talk immediately about whether or not this alleged shooter was transgender or not. And they could have cleared up a couple of things really quickly. I do think, however, that the reason there was a problem with that, so the accused is Natalie, who goes by Samantha online or Sam online.
Last name Runpower.
Right. And so I think there was justification to the skepticism of, wait a minute, who is this person?
Yeah.
What that person looked like, what the images they posted online and that sort of thing. You could definitely see, okay, wait a minute, is this a transgender situation or not? So I agree with the questioning of that.
Yeah. What we do know, though, was that the killer, the shooter, was 15-year-old
Yes.
Natalie Rumpau.
Yeah,
That is weird. That is
15-year-old girl, to have that much hate and mental issues, that thinking this was the way out, and to have a manifesto at 15 years old.
Again, it hasn't been
incredible.
verified, but it's Natalie Rupnow. I'm putting it. I guess that it's Rupnow, Rupnow. I was transposing those names according to the police report here. We have to double check on that. But to have a kid with that level of hatred, a 15-year-old with a pistol in a school.
Well, and to say how she got the weapon, according to the manifesto, through, and this is a quote, lies, manipulation, and my father's stupidity.
Yeah, not exactly a warm, fuzzy relationship if this manifesto is
right to be believed.
True.
Clearly, there's a level of hate in this person's heart, but to have that much distrust of men, you do have to wonder what maybe was going on in that household. And it could be nothing. It could be just chemical imbalance, could be something, wrong, or
we got to see the medical records.
Yeah, and the
history.
therapist has to know something. So, yeah, I think there's a lot more to come on this story for
There's
sure.
a lot more to come, and it is, but I mean, this is a beyond weird world in which we live, and the origin of this thing, the purported manifesto. So the 15-year-old estranged young American girl had an, quote, purported online relationship with a 17-year-old boy in Germany for 2 years.
In Germany, yeah.
Never met him.
Right.
And
called him boyfriend, though.
It's all beyond weird. All right, we'll have more. We'll talk about we're going to change the topic.
Tone a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C. with a continuing resolution. They're just continuing to kick the can down the road, but maybe only till March. We'll be back with E.J. Host after this.
Hey there, this is Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of The Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, all-star panelist, one of our official guest hosts, E.J. Haast. E.J., so the federal government, I know this is so sad, the federal government is going to run out of money on Friday.
Sure, well.
Asterisk.
Right.
Basically, the federal government doesn't really run out of money.
Ever.
It's just, and you know, all the quote essential things are still paid for. When the budget is, doesn't continue, it's not appropriated and authorized. Still, about 70% of the federal government still
That's
keeps
right.
running.
That's right.
But it's all a big shutdown. Everybody worries about it. We have been for a couple decades in the grips of fiscal irresponsibility at the congressional level, because there's a way that the annual budget is supposed to be approved. As you know, we have a fiscal year that runs from October 1st until September 30th.
Yep.
We are currently in fiscal year 2025 because obviously it started October 1st, 2024, and continues until September 30th, 2025. But what's supposed to happen is for the fiscal year that starts October 1st, Congress is supposed to meet the prior January.
Sure.
And they're supposed to go through the subcommittee process and the committee process and look at all the spending, and experts in those areas will will vote yes or no on it. And then finally, they put all these different committees together and their recommendations, and they put it for a floor vote. That's what they call regular order.
Right.
In the past 2 decades, I think they've not gone by regular order at all.
Nope.
And as a result, we're spending money like drunken sailors, with apologies to drunken sailors who are probably a little bit more responsible than members of Congress. And the federal deficit has climbed to $36 trillion.
Right.
$1 trillion every 100 days. So here we are. The Congress did not pass a budget for the full fiscal year, October 1st to September 30th. Instead, they passed what's called a
continuing resolution.
And that continuing resolution, which was passed like on September 30th,
right,
funded the government at the ridiculous high levels of spending that we've seen from October 1st until this Friday,
right,
which would be December 20th.
Well, and it's important to note that the continuing resolution it's not like a one-pager that says, hey, we're just going to keep spending at the current levels. If that were the case, we could almost manage it, right? But that's not the case.
How many pages are there?
1,500 pages, I think, right?
And have they been released yet?
No, they have not. So they're supposed to vote on 1,500 pages tomorrow. Congress will, for a continuing resolution. Now, you do have to ask why 1,500 pages. What's in there? What could possibly be in there?
It's all a bunch of, special interest stuff.
You want to know my idea on how they can figure out what's in there with no time to read it?
I think I know, but go ahead.
I think they should run it through, and I suggested this to Congressman Tim Burchett here in Tennessee, and Senator Mike Lee. I know they read my X posts.
They do.
I hope they do.
No, I bet, yeah, I'm sure they do.
You think they do. So I think they should run it through an AI program.
Of course.
Give us the Sparks notes.
Yeah.
Right? Give us the Cliff Notes on what the general themes are. Find inconsistencies. Run it against the Constitution, and let's figure out what is constitutional and what's not. Also, find out conflicts of interest. I mean, if you know how to prompt really well, you could get that 1,500 pages down to almost nothing pretty quickly.
You know what the problem with your idea is? Mm-hmm. It makes too much sense.
Oh, and somebody on Capitol Hill would actually have to do some work.
Yeah.
That isn't fundraising or meeting with a lobbyist.
We can help Mike Lee in the Senate and Tim Burchett in the House together. We can do a little dueling AIs, right? We can take the document whenever it's released. We would help them right now if they had actually released the document.
I did suggest that last night on Twitter, on X. I said, just put it out there publicly. We'll do it for you.
We'll do it for you. You know, just put it out there. You can use ChatGPT.
Oh, I have an update on that too.
I'll use Grok too, and then we'll just go through it and analyze it, and we'll take the 1,500 pages and boil it down to the 5 pages that matter.
That would be amazing.
You think?
5 pages, even if it's 100, at least we'd have the ability to read it, right? But a continuing resolution, we talked about this before a few weeks ago, like to get it through maybe March-ish, so that
March is apparently this continuing resolution would go from December 20th to sometime in March.
Right. That gives Doge an opportunity to dig into some things and really make some suggestions, brainstorm some ideas. They're already doing these things now. It'd be great if they had the opportunity again to run our budget through some sort of an AI program that could kick out some good suggestions for us on how we can save some money. But really, continuing resolutions and budgets in general have always been about the Congress kind of giving back favors and putting names on bridges and things like that. Like it's more about contracts and lobbyists and the people who write the pages of these bills than it is about the actual budget. And so, it's never about saving money. It's never about doing what's right by the taxpayer. It's almost always about who's getting a favor, and we have to make sure we maintain this relationship with this person over here or this country over here. Remember, a lot of what's in our budget is like how much we give to other countries. So it's a lot deeper than just, hey, quit spending so much money. It is involved, and it's going to take a lot of work to get it fixed.
Yeah, it's weird because it's not been released yet as of
2 hours ago, that was the last I looked. It hadn't been released. Yeah,
that's bizarre to me. And they're also going to want to get out of Dodge.
True, for the holidays.
They don't like to hang around there.
Yeah.
So there's also a rule, which it looks like they're probably going to, make a special exception to. Supposedly, you're not going to have a vote on any budget bill until as a member of Congress, you've had 72 hours to review it.
So that was a rule that was put into place not too long ago, if I remember right.
And it's been violated.
Every time. I mean, I can't. They're going to want to vote on this thing tomorrow. The reason they hold it back, and actually, we can put a little of this on Speaker Mike Johnson, I believe, because he probably could release it. My guess is they're still tweaking it. Yeah, I think it'll be right to the last second.
If they were to follow the 72-hour rule, and if they were to release it in half an hour at noon Eastern time,
okay,
the earliest they could vote on it, if they were to actually follow the 72-hour rule, which they're supposed to follow, would be noon Eastern time on Friday.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is they're going to release it sometime before midnight tonight.
Yep. And late after the news cycle.
And then they're going to require a vote on it sometime before midnight tomorrow.
Yes.
That'd be this is why
they do this while people aren't paying attention on purpose.
Well, we're paying attention, but it's bizarre because you look at this And I mean, we've got a weird period of time. We got, 33 days until Donald Trump becomes president.
Right.
Man, I'm praying every day that something crazy
Let's
doesn't
just
happen.
get through it.
Yeah. But Mike Johnson, I mean, Bannon just despises Johnson for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And at the Army Navy game, there was Johnson and Mike and John Thune with President Trump, and they were all happy, happy, happy. I think President Trump is going to be happy, happy, happy with Mike Johnson until the afternoon of January 20th. I mean,
you think so?
I think he's got to work with the guy.
Yeah.
But Johnson, he's a huge disappointment.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, but if you look at how he got into the seat as speaker, it was chaos. that process with Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Former member of Congress,
right?
Matt Gaetz.
So there was quite a lot of chaos that surrounded that. So you're right. We have to work with the person currently in the speakership, and so I think they will. I don't think we're going to get a new one though.
Oh no. People are just tired of all of that, grousing back and forth. They want to get something done.
The infighting.
When we come back, though, we've got a great former infighting story. Liz Cheney is in trouble, and everybody is just so sad about it.
Not me.
Not me either. Nor Stephen K. Bannon. Back after this.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall and Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall and Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall and Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. E.J. Host, all-star panelist, in studio with us. E.J., so I know everybody is just so sad. Every America First pro-Trump person in the country is just so sad. Stephen K. Bannon, so sad. The news came out today that
I think I detect sarcasm in that statement.
A tad. So the January 6th, committee,
Yeah.
that was illegally formed, basically, she who was on it, the turncoat Republican, apparently she talked to a witness and got her to basically suborn perjury.
Yep.
It looks like.
That's
and
what it looks
now
like.
that committee of the House is recommending her to the FBI for criminal prosecution.
Investigation, yeah.
John Solomon broke the story at Just the News, and we've got this clip of John Solomon talking about it late yesterday. No, actually,
Administration Subcommittee on Oversight, the committee that's been investigating January 6th, just released its final report for this year. It accuses Liz Cheney of tampering with the witness, Cassidy Hutchinson, trying to influence her testimony. It formally recommends that the Federal Bureau of Investigation criminally investigate Liz Cheney when President Trump takes over on January 20th. One of several bombshell revelations in here. The report also says that Jack Smith colluded with the January 6th committee, but that some of the evidence has not yet been turned over to Congress. They're demanding that that evidence be turned over, something that might happen when the new administration takes over. But a really significant and rare moment for Congress to actually suggest that one of its members should be criminally prosecuted for tampering with a witness in an official government proceeding, a House hearing, the January 6th House hearing. As you remember, Cassidy Hutchinson was the bombshell witness for the Democrats, claimed that Donald Trump tried to commandeer the presidential limousine, take it to the Capitol. We now know that wasn't true. The Secret Service had already told Liz Cheney it wasn't true. She presented the evidence anyways to the American public, tried to give it credence. There's some other testimony where Cassidy Hutchinson talks about a document she claims she wrote it. She didn't. Someone else wrote it. All of that is laid out in this report. But the headline is Liz Cheney could be facing an FBI criminal investigation based on this information that Congress has transmitted this morning.
John.
Okay, so there we go. And actually,
incredible revelation. I think we all knew it, but then now to see it reported in a way that is really damaging. I mean, this is tough for Liz Cheney. She's going to be in trouble.
I think so. Now, when they do this referral to the Department of Justice, nothing is going to happen for 33 days.
Right.
They might even say, well, we'll send it back. We're not going to do it. Okay. The new Congress will just do the same thing.
Right.
Kash Patel is going to be confirmed as the director of the FBI.
Yeah.
He will begin the criminal prosecution, or the prosecution is the DOJ.
If it gets to that. Remember, they've been floating these commendations and pardons from the Biden administration. Mm-hmm. I really feel as though this has been released now, and I think the floating of the trial balloon of the idea of who else might get a pardon. Liz Cheney was sort of on that list of people being talked about. I think she will probably get a pardon.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, for her help with the Harris campaign. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's something. And if she gets a pardon,
She'll accept it.
And she accepts it, that is the end of her political career.
Well, I think she's done anyway, don't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
I
I don't
so.
think she's got a chance, more important than ever being elected again. I think that puts the nail in the coffin, quite honestly, for her, even being a lobbyist or being an influencer, so to speak, on Capitol Hill. I think she's done.
She might get a gig at MSNBC for the next 6 months.
Yeah,
before it
for a short
is
time.
sold.
Yeah, and only while she's relevant, right? I mean, I think that's she will fall by the wayside, as she should, in the dustbin of history.
Boom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And those tears you hear.
And you hate to see it.
You just hate to see it.
Couldn't happen to a better person,
She
right?
put unfairly and illegally, in my view, she and all the Democrats
Yes.
and the crooked Department of Justice put my friend Stephen K. Bannon and my acquaintance Peter Navarro
And hundreds of others.
in prison. Mm-hmm. Well, the J6 committee specifically
Yep.
put
Yep.
2 people in prison for contempt of Congress. And Stephen K. Bannon and Peter Navarro spent 4 months in a federal prison. Steve he wasn't in the minimum security wing. He was in with, tough guys.
Yeah.
Mean, tough guys.
Yep.
Who've committed serious felonies. That is an absolute disgrace.
Do you think they can sue?
That's a good question.
I wonder if there's anything they can do legally against Cheney and anyone else on J6 who's now being investigated because they withheld evidence and colluded with this Cassidy
See,
Hutchinson.
there's criminal liability there, and if she's pardoned along with all the other
Would that
Democrats,
even be admissible at that point in a civic case?
I think you could possibly file a civil case for unlawful imprisonment, unlawful prosecution.
Potentially.
Now, but I think the people that you would look at for that would actually be, in this instance, the officials at the Department of Justice,
Right.
more so than the members of Congress, because the actual prosecution was conducted by the folks in the folks in the Department of Justice. Now, that brings us to Harmeet Dillon, our friend, our attorney.
Yes.
Harmeet Dillon.
I like Miss Dillon very much.
She's now been named the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights.
Right.
And that is the office from which prosecutions against prosecutors for basically illegal prosecution would take place. I see her as being a very, very strong prosecutor of prosecutorial misconduct. And I think the people that are going to be focused on are Jack Smith,
For sure.
Merrick Garland.
Oh, he could be in trouble.
He could be in trouble, as well as Alvin Bragg, and possibly Letitia James.
Oh, for
the
sure.
Attorney General of
For sure.
So I do think my guess would be, and this is all guess. I haven't talked to Harmeet about this at all. In fact, we have our conversations have been very short, right?
She's a little busy.
She's a little busy, and of course, she agreed to represent us in the event back in September, before we released the covenant, the 90 pages that we legally obtained of the 1,000-page Covenant Killer Manifesto. We reached out to her and we had a brief conversation in which she agreed to represent us through her public legal defense fund. and then the attorney in that area. We haven't had extensive conversations, but hey, we've had the right kind of conversations. But we haven't talked about this at all.
Yeah.
And of course, she needs to be confirmed in the United States Senate. Pam Bondi will be confirmed.
Terrific. Yep.
Harmeet Dillon will be confirmed.
For sure.
Kash Patel will be confirmed. The Department of Justice, FBI, America First juggernaut is going to be in place very quickly.
It's going to go through an overhaul. I mean, really, there are so many good things that are coming of this. People are threatening to quit on their own accord, I say bye-bye.
All of the deep state bureaucrats are going to self-deport.
Yeah,
from the Department of
self-deport. That's great. Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. Anybody who may have some skeletons that kind of maybe they haven't been the most savory at the Department of Justice, my guess is they'll probably go. What I found interesting was, I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago, Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House spokesperson, was asked about whether or not people like Liz Cheney and others would be getting pardons. Alvin Bragg, potentially, right? Jack Smith, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she would not confirm nor deny.
Which means...
Probably.
Right?
I mean, they flat out lied about Hunter. Oh, no, we're not going to do it. And then sure enough, they...
When do you think these pardons will come?
Like Christmas Eve. Like it's going to be a very, while everybody's very busy doing
Christmas
many
Eve.
other things. Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, something like that.
The evening of the 19th?
Something like that, maybe.
Probably before that.
You think?
I think, yeah, because they want to get it squared away. They're probably all of the attorneys there are working on it right now as we speak.
Right, and then they'll all take Christmas break.
They've got the documents ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How many more people do you think he's going to pardon?
I mean, most presidents do about a third or less of what he's done already. So
it's an indication of the corruption of his.
Yeah, for sure.
He'll pardon his brother.
Oh, probably Jill.
He'll pardon Jill.
Yep.
Yeah. Pardon himself.
Yep.
I guess
his daughter Ashley.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody else associated with Biden Inc.
Will he get to the cousins?
Mafia family?
Will he get to his second cousins?
I think friends that probably names we haven't even heard of. I mean, he's some of these pardons and commendations like.
They're bad.
Oh, so bad. Like that judge.
Yeah.
I mean,
the judge took bribes in order to assign kids on minor first offenses to some quote for-profit juvenile facility, and one of the kids killed himself because he couldn't take it. And it was unfair.
Totally unfair.
You should not have a kid.
It was like $2.5 million or something. So it wasn't like this guy was making billions on this.
Yeah.
It was wild. But these are the kinds of people that Biden is.
Okay, the over/under. How many more pardons between now and January 20th at noon by Biden?
January 20th.
What's the number? What's the number? Give me a number.
At least 30.
At least 30. I'll say at least 100.
Oh.
We'll see.
All right.
When we come back, we might try another edition of Dueling AIs.
Oh, let's do it.
Back after this.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. EJ Host in studio. EJ, it's time for Dueling AIs.
Dueling AIs. I have an AI update, actually.
Oh, well, let's get that update. And then we still need a little sound effect for Dueling AIs. But go ahead. What's your AI
You
update?
should ask the listeners to send us something.
Oh, yeah.
Something we can
Something
use.
that we don't have to, get the rights to.
Yeah. So as you know, you are a Grok user.
I'm a Grok guy.
Yep.
Grok 2. And
And,
there's going to be a Grok 3.
And probably a 4 and a 5, and they'll just keep on improving, which I think is terrific. Lately, I've been using Gemini a little more often.
That's a Google thing.
Yep,
right?
that's a Google thing,
product.
but primarily because I also use chat for search functions, and that has a better search function. Chat GPT, however,
Which is from OpenAI.
OpenAI,
The former nonprofit established with the money of Elon Musk and the expertise of Sam Altman, which has now magically become a for-profit.
right?
And Elon Musk is
Not magically, quite
bad
very
on you.
much on purpose.
And Elon Musk
Yeah.
is mad at them, and he's left.
Yes. Yep. This new update with chat is including search now. So Chat GPT search is the new function, the new feature. So it's going to scrape for websites, news stories, things like that, versus just giving you that
Gotcha.
that quick little response in paragraphs. This now is going to be able to expand their horizons a bit and offer more in terms of results. So
Our prompt.
I'm excited about it.
We call it a prompt, right?
Yes.
As opposed to a question. But it's a question. Here is the question. Is Tren de Aragua, that's the Venezuelan crime gang.
Crime gang, yeah.
Is Tren de Aragua active in criminal activity in Aurora, Colorado? That's the question.
That is the question.
What does ChatGPT say?
As of my last update, there have been no widely verified reports or evidence linking the Tren de Aragua to criminal activity, specifically in Aurora, Colorado. What? I have news today that would completely turn that on its head. What did Grok say?
Grok was a little better, but it didn't incorporate today's news.
Yeah.
They said, yes, Tren de Aragua is active in criminal activity in Aurora, Colorado. Various sources confirm the gang has established a presence in the city. Aurora police have identified and linked 10 individuals to Tren de Aragua, with 8 of those arrested in connection with various criminal activities. And then it goes on to there have been reports, blah, blah, blah. Both Grok 2 and ChatGPT missed the big news of the day, which is,
and this is scary. Police have detained 14 people in Aurora, Colorado at the very same apartment complex where armed Tren de Aragua gangsters were threatening residents. Do you remember all those videos that we were told as watchers of the news and people on X and Reddit and on other social media platforms where people were literally sharing videos outside their own apartments? We were told not to believe our own eyes.
you cannot believe, according to the regime media and according to basically most Democrat politicians,
Even the mayor
you
of
cannot
Aurora.
believe your lying eyes.
That's right.
But guess what? Guess who was right about that?
Trump.
Donald
100%
J.
vindicated.
Trump.
Yep.
See, isn't it interesting? Virtually everything that Donald Trump said, which has been ridiculed by the regime media and by Democrat politicians, virtually everything that he said has turned out to be true.
Yeah. That's what's the timeline of a conspiracy, right? A conspiracy theory. It's about 3 months, something like that.
It's about 3 months between what's called a right-wing conspiracy and a confirmed fact.
Right. So apparently in this apartment complex, people were found bound. This is according to Fox News, bound and stabbed. So I would say, yes, there is a problem in that apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
And it's not just Aurora, Colorado.
It's in
It's
every
17
major
states.
city. Yeah.
The head of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation here said it's in every major city of Tennessee. And then we had the police chief in West Fargo, North Dakota,
Yep.
saying that a Tren de Aragua gang member had like stolen $24,000 from a bank.
Unbelievable.
So look, this is very clear what's going on. Criminals who are not stupid to a degree have decided to let. It's why with Willie Sutton was asked, "Why do you rob banks?" Because that's where the money is.
Right.
Criminals in other countries are coming to the United States. Why? Because that's where the money is.
That's right.
And it's not just that. We've got these international, mostly South American criminal gangs that are, wait for it, they're big sports fans. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
And why are they sports fans? Because when a big superstar is playing a football game, they are at his house stealing everything.
Right.
That's what apparently happened to Travis Kelce
Yep.
in Kansas City. And then Joe Burrow, the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, had his house
They're
burgled.
waiting for them to have an out of town game, and right, they go on the road, and then they're attacking their houses.
See, this is why the Democrat Party, I think, is about to go the way of the early 19th century Whig Party, which disappeared because elected Democrat officials say, nothing to see here, move along. And yet, anybody with an ounce of common sense knows, E.J. Host, there's a lot to see here.
It's so much to see. I mean, and it's, again, don't believe your own eyes. Follow me on X. I repost all of this stuff. I spend way too much time there. At EJ Under the Radar.
Before we leave,
tell
us about your business.
So when I'm not doing radio pontificating and blasting Democrats, I am the owner and president of a software company helping businesses get found online. So go to getfoundeverywhere.com.
Getfoundeverywhere.com.
Learn more. Yeah.
Go there. I highly recommend it.
Thank you.
All right. EJ, thanks for joining us today.
And you know what? Merry Christmas, because I won't see you now until after
Merry
the holiday.
Christmas to all. Up next, Mark Pulliam with his comments on what's going on with judicial appointments. It's a lot of inside baseball. Rock'em sock'em. Back after this.